Hello everyone, hope you are doing very well. This lesson is dedicated to 7th graders. Today we are going to continue where we stopped last week on page 381. Let's discuss the answers uh, to the homework I have assigned you. The first question says, of the homework uh, why was Al Gore being asked to give his or this speech? So Al Gore was asked to give his speech because he won the Nobel Prize. Alright? And as you know, guys, everyone or anyone who wins the Nobel Prize has to be asked to give a speech before he receives this prize. Let's move to question number 2. What is the planetary emergency about which Gore is so concerned? Alright, so the answer here says that Gore is so concerned about climate change or global warming. These are the issues or emergencies, let me say, he is concerned about. Question 3. According to Gore, how much global warming pollution was added to the atmosphere on the day he gave the speech? The answer here is 70 million tons. Alright, so 70 million tons of global warming pollution. Question 4. Which American poet does Gore quote in his speech? The American poet is Robert Frost. He is the poet Gore quoted from. Alright. We still have number 5. I assigned it as homework for this week. So let's postpone answering this. For now, let's move to the next page and let's jump directly to this part. Okay, so this page is 382. The part we are about to answer now is analyze the text. Analyze the text. Question 1. Compare and contrast. How does Gore compare Alfred Nobel's intentions and goals with those of modern society? Alright, so the answer here could be Gore says we never intended to cause so much destruction to the planet, just as Nobel never intended that dynamite be used for waging war. Okay, this is from paragraph 16. If you will go back to this paragraph, you will find this evidence to this question. Question 2. Interpret. What does Gore mean by mutually assured destruction? Okay, so this is the question. What does mutually assured destruction mean, as Gore said, or as Gore mentioned in his speech? So it means that people are destroying the planet at the same time as the planet is destroying human life. Okay, so people and the planet are mutually, let me say, destroying each other. So this is what we call mutual destruction. In other words, I mean. I will skip part B of question 2 here, and also question 3 can be skipped. There's no point to answer this question. Alright, so yeah, I will move to the next page, which is 383, analyze craft and structure. Let's move here. Alright, so a persuasive speech is a work of non-fiction, so it is real, okay, that presents a series of arguments to convince people, humans, let me say, to think or act in a certain way. So here there's a problem. There's something we have to act toward, because we have an issue. So when you read or listen to a persuasive speech, be alert to use of persuasive techniques. Alright, so there are some techniques to persuade people or humans, because I cannot just give a speech and that's it. There are some techniques so I can persuade or convince people about doing something or acting towards something. Then, after you use these techniques, I mean, decide whether a particular technique provides reasonable, okay, so we must have reasons or logic, you can use logic here at this point, and relevant support that persuades you to accept or act on the author's ideas. Alright, so one of these techniques, or three of these techniques I mean, are the following. The first one is appeals to authority. Appeals to authority. Use the statements of experts and well-known people because they are well authorized. They are working in a government or in a political position or something like that. So they are authorized, authenticated, let me say. Technique number 2 is appeals to emotion. Use words that convey strong feelings. Okay, so in this technique we have to use strong feelings or strong emotions so we can affect people easily to do something or to act. Technique number 3 is appeals to reason. It means to use logic or logical arguments backed by facts. Okay, so here we have to use reason. Sometimes we go back to some events, to history maybe, okay, by using logic and facts. Okay, facts like statistics, some dates, and so on. Let's move to practice part. Question 1. Review the speech. Okay, so after reviewing the speech, use the chart, this one, to identify at least one example of each type of persuasive technique. Okay, so here in these rows we have to mention or to write or to use one technique in each row. Okay, and where we saw this technique, in what paragraph. Okay, and yeah, using the first one or the first technique, appeal to authority, if we use it here, okay, I can go back to paragraph number 7. All right, so I'm not willing to read the whole paragraph actually, just a few lines if we have, because we don't have enough time. The distinguished scientists, okay, so it's about scientists with whom it is the greatest honor of my life to share this award, have laid before us a choice between two different futures, a choice that to my ears echoes the words of an ancient prophet: life or death, blessings or curses. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Okay, so this is the first technique. Uh, the second one, technique number two, I mean, if we use here uh, appeals to reason, appeals to reason. Again, if we go back to paragraph number 8, just one second. All right, here. We, the human species, are confronting a planetary emergency, a threat to the survival of our civilization that is gathering ominous and destructive potential, even as we gather here. But there is hopeful news as well. We have the ability to solve this crisis and avoid the worst, though not all, of its consequences, if we act boldly, decisively, and quickly. This is again the technique of uh, appealing to reason. All right, we can solve the crisis if we act fast. Between two brackets. All right. The last technique that should be mentioned here is talking about appealing to emotions. Okay, which means using strong words or strong feelings. Back to paragraph number 10. Just a few seconds, please. Okay, yeah. Paragraph 10 says, so today we dumped another 70 million tons of global warming pollution into the thin shell of atmosphere surrounding our planet, as if it were an open sore. And tomorrow we will dump a slightly larger amount, with the cumulative concentrations now trapping more and more heat from the sun. Notice the use of strong feelings here, guys. All right. Type. The next page, I will skip question 2 and jump to number 3. What massive changes does Gore say must be made to solve the climate crisis? Okay, so here we are talking about the massive changes. All right. We can say here we must greatly reduce the amount of CO2 emissions we're discharging into the atmosphere. We must stop building facilities that burn coal without a way to trap and store carbon dioxide. Okay, that's it. That's enough, I guess. And moving to number 4, question 4. According to Gore, what is shared responsibility? What is shared responsibility? It means that everyone must be responsible for finding solutions to global warming, and everyone should be allowed to contribute to this effort. Okay, so it's a responsibility that must be shared among all of us, every one of us on this planet. Okay. Number 5 also can be skipped. There's no need. All right. Moving to the concept vocabulary. I told you guys before that you have to look these words up in your dictionary. Okay, just to know their meanings and how you use them in meaningful sentences. Question 1. Just a minute. Okay. Select two concept vocabulary words other than pollution. Okay. Explain how each word describes a setting or a situation. Okay. We go back here. The word pollution describes a poisonous component of a setting, which is Earth's atmosphere. All right, so we need to find two concept vocabulary words other than pollution and explain how these or how each word describes a setting or a situation. All right. Um, I will discuss these answers with you later, okay? Because I needed to look for these words. Question two: what other words in the selection, okay, and then speech itself, might describe a setting or a situation? Okay, two examples are enough. We will discuss them later. Okay. Uh, Now let's move to the last part here, which is practice. Okay. We have here six sentences. Okay. Each one has blank. Okay. That must be filled in with one of these words. Okay. The six words I mean. Okay. So do your best to fill in these words. All right. And here the word study, the Latin prefix uni means one, which is very important to know this actually, okay? Because here I need you to write your own sentence that correctly uses the word universal, for example, okay? So universal means one, okay? So how would you use this this word, okay, and a meaningful sentences or sentence, sorry. uh, One example could be like free education should be a universal right for the children of uh, the world. All right, thank you guys, that's enough for today. Hope you enjoyed and good luck.